I've created a property reset protocol. Basic layman's language, like it's pretty much ghost busting, clearing spaces. They're actually the ghosts. So they didn't know that they had passed on. When I allowed all of the thousands of spirits to transcend and go where they need to go, the harmony of the people working there shifted.
What is death in and of itself, in your point of view?
And what I perceived in the future for healthcare is its frequency.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Vibe Higher with Gigi podcast. Today we have a very special episode with a fan favorite. Giancarla Gureng is back in the house because the fans and you guys have spoken. I'm going to read off a little bit of her bio. Giancarla is an energetic protection and space clearing specialist and founder of Infinite Sovereign Frequency, whose property reset protocol, we're going to talk about that, helps properties with difficult histories or unexplained resistance finally move forward. With a dual science degree in psychology and nursing and years across clinical education and regulatory work, she brings rare grounding to conversations about the spirit world and shares the true stories behind it on her Substack, Transmutation. Thank you for being here, Giancarla.
Thank you so much for having me again. I'm happy and excited to be here, whatever we're going to unfold tonight.
We're going to be talking about ghosts and goblins. Or not. Okay.
We'll see.
So I'm gonna dive right in and ask about in the bio it was mentioned about the property reset protocol. Could you tell us what makes a property resist its owner? Now that's a big question. Yeah. And we're talking about entities. We're talking about transmuting galactical spheres and energetic realms, and you do like property reset protocols. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so I've created a property reset protocol, like basic layman's language, like it's pretty much ghost busting, clearing spaces, and these spaces could be houses, it could be their businesses, and I've also like done for land and an island overseas, and it's so why that has come to fruition is that there are energies and frequencies that are low vibration in certain spaces that may influence the people living there not have as much harmony, or even there could be health issues, or those people that are trying to sell or move a property, like somehow it just is not moving. And this could be because of histories it may have had, not just while people are living in the house, but while the home or this infrastructure is being built, and also the history of that land. What has happened to that land in history, before the structures were built? And I'm talking about like decades or even centuries.
So we're talking about events and also relationship dynamics and feelings between people and between themselves who have lived in those places. And even though they have long passed, their energetic fields, whether or not there's blockages there, still exist in different realms,
Yes,
but still exist in that space.
exactly. And I don't know if any of you have seen this movie. I keep forgetting what it's called, but it's Nicole Kidman was one of the main actors in there, and the story unfolded like most of the movie with them feeling fear that there were ghosts inhabiting their house. But towards the end, the main twist was that they're actually the ghosts. So they didn't know that they had passed on. So a lot of the spirits, and when I say spirits, these are human spirits that have already passed on. A lot of them are not aware that they don't have bodies anymore. And so what I do with my process is, I do speak to dead people. I let them know that, hey, do you guys know that you don't have bodies anymore? And they go like, oh, is that so? I'm like, oh, really? So what do I do now? And then so I converse with them and provide them with choices, because choice is powerful, like with anything and everything, even in the afterlife. And I support and assist them to go where they need to go. So it
So
creates more of that expansive energy in space in the place for the people that are currently living there. And houses have consciousness too. So yes, I talk to houses as well. Yeah, houses talk to me.
okay, though I have a couple of questions from what you said. Firstly, is like, what's the situation of a spirit who has just passed, and why wouldn't they know that they have passed? Number one. Number two, I think I might know the answer to this, but like, how does a house and a non-living entity have a spirit? And is that the residue of the spirits of the people who live there and who have lived there in the past? Is
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Let us do the first question. Like how is it possible that people that have passed on would not be aware that they're not living anymore, or they
Or
don't have a
what is it
body?
about their
Um,
state that makes it that way?
yeah, yeah. A lot of like these individuals, like they may have not had this complete resolution that they're ready to pass on. And there could be unresolved things, projects, issues, or people that they still want to keep contact with that makes them live in, like, I would say, like a groundhog day. And sometimes like they go into a certain loop in a specific moment in their life that still keeps happening. And so they're still in that, like that stage, that limbo. So it's lacking awareness. So if you've heard about people that are not as much aware that they have like still that veil over them and not awakened, like spirits experience that as well. So and yeah, we experience pretty much the same things that they do, but in another realm that we can't see because they're in a different dimension.
Mm, yeah, there's many layers there.
And with your second question, about houses or structures having spirit. So it's not like, I wouldn't call it spirit, I'll call it consciousness, because every object has
Mm,
consciousness. So we do have consciousness, like my necklace has consciousness, my selenite orb has consciousness. So I don't see even non-living things as not having any energy flows through them. Like
mm,
all of us are intertwined, and we have this certain communion with everything that's around us. So when I say that houses talk to me, yes, it could be the memories and the energies that were stuck in there by the people that had lived there, and they also have their own consciousness. So I'll give you an example. So for instance, like a house is, intended to be sold to move the property to another owner, and it's not moving even if the price is great, the location is amazing, the house is nice and bright. Yeah, it has nothing to do with, if they look like a haunted house or not. So the house may possibly would be not ready to let go of the owner, or maybe the owner is holding on to a certain part of it that they didn't want to verbalize. And sometimes properties like have a known purpose. So for instance, like, oh, this house, I'm going to be a house for a young family, or for an empty nester, or oh, I want to be like a house that has like a business tied up to it. So there could be like a wellness room. But sometimes they don't want that. And if they're not clear about their role, about their contribution to the person inhabiting the property, then
mm.
there could be some non-coherence there.
Wow. Wow. It reminds me, I've been watching reruns of Friends, and that's a mainstream show. And because of Phoebe Buffay, the weird character, they
Yeah.
they put spirits, like they put spirits in objects, and they identified the feelings of an object, whether or not like that object would be sad, if like a bicycle would feel sad if you abandoned it and you wouldn't ride it, and it wouldn't fulfill its duty to be ridden as a bike. So it makes me think of that in the
Yeah.
main in the mainstream. But So
Oh,
objects
that's very
can.
interesting. And everything can contribute to us if we ask it to. So, for
Mm.
instance, like all the items that I have around me in my home, I ask it to contribute to me. Like, for instance, like, hey, Ring, you're very beautiful. Thank you for coming into my life. Because before I bought it, I asked, would you like to come with me? And would you contribute to me, my life, and my future? And it said yes. How would I know that it said
Whoa.
yes? Like
Yeah.
I would sense like a buzzing energy, or I would feel so much expansiveness in my body. Yeah, when I see it and when I try it on, I would know that like,
Mm.
okay, you're coming home with me. And it doesn't like have anything to do with the amount or like what it looks like. Sometimes like a very plain one would go like, oh, come, I want to come with you. And yeah, I do the same things when I do grocery shopping when I am at the fruit stand. I ask, all right, which of you guys would like to come with me and contribute to my body and my health? And then I would like sense the energy of like this group of apples, like me. Even if these other group of apples look way more shinier and like prettier or cooler. Like yeah, and I would like sense the energy of which bag to pick.
So I
So
mean,
there you go.
like you're tapped into that type of energy, that sensitivity, because it must take time to, and instead of like doing it unconsciously or seemingly unconsciously to pick an orange and an apple as they look, or some people shake it and listen to it in this physical realm, but okay, you sense. But that brings me to that the other
Yeah.
question is that like if in an environment, like what are the signs that people feel in a space that they cannot understand?
Ah, so many possibilities. So an example that I could say is like for instance, one that may be sensitive or even just slightly sensitive, would be more like leaning more towards using a specific room than another room. Like it could be as simple as, oh, when I've put my workstation in this part of the house, it was a lot harder to concentrate or to focus. But when I move it into this other spot, I get more inspiration. So you could relate it to the feng shui energies as well, but yeah, like different sections of a space could feel different, but it's also possible to increase the vibration and frequency of a space so it contributes to you. And asking it like, hey, house, would you contribute to me with my career and finance flow, and like overall joy, happiness, and health? And almost always it's willing to. It's like, yep, sure. Because you've given it clarity, you've given it a job of what you would like it to do for you. Or you can even open it up to something non-specific. It's like, hey, house, what would it take for you to help me create more ease with my work when I'm working from home and more opportunities and clients to come into my life? And then I would get people reaching out to me from other countries that like I've never met them and just goes, oh, I've seen your post on social. I don't know why I'm reaching out to you right now, but I just felt like I could open up to you and would you help me with this specific thing? So like could be a family thing or a business thing or moving properties. And yeah, there's always like that energetic signature that people recognize. And when we follow that pull, that intuition, that knowing, like things start to unfold, like even in the most unexpected ways. When we give a clear direction or a job to things or structures like houses or business buildings of what it could contribute to us, it gives it the clarity, oh, so this is my role for you. And then even asking further questions, would you help me with contributing to more ease and flow with my business? Or just even that overall calmness, relaxation, and peace in my house? It is willing to. Yeah, because it could be like a lot more conscious than us because we have like our monkey brain sometimes. And you can even ask for the consciousness of your house to increase by just asking for it.
You also have to be like tapped in. You have to be energetically tapped in, and you have to have that faith that what is being said to you and that understanding, that openness, that faith. Because it's like it sounds like woo woo, and it might be a little woo woo, but you have to just have that, like that openness of spirit, to be able to tap into that consciousness of an entity, of a house, for example, and then trust what is being said if you do have a message coming in. Right?
Exactly. And that's why I do what I do. That's where I come in, because I'm able to detect specific energies that could be stagnating the flow of different aspects of people's lives. And it could even be, again, like I told you, past histories of whoever lived in that place before. There could even be curses, or there could be some bloodshed there. Was it a war zone or a dumping ground for bodies that have died? Like, there could be so many possibilities. And there's this thing that is called geopathic stress lines under the earth. And a lot of the lines are beneficial, but there are those that are not. So, for instance, there are types of geopathic stress lines that contribute to someone's health, and everyone that lives there would have a certain type of ailment. And I've seen this in my previous encounters with my previous clients, like similar diseases, no family history, no comorbidities, or no predisposing medical conditions. And once the energy was transmuted and was recalibrated, like everything shifted for the people living there as well. So it needs to be neutralized, whatever those lines are that are detected under the earth.
Because people could say that it's like the rock formations that are maybe they're detrimental to people's health in
Yes.
in that sphere. But you're talking about geopathic stress lines. What are they? Could you explain that a little bit to us?
Yeah. So geopathic stress lines, there's so many types of them. There are different names like ley lines, HAARP, HAARP, because of this experiment that was done like back in the day. And
Or still
like
going
they
on?
inflict energy and frequency. They inflict energy and frequency that suck energy out of people, or just puts the cells of the body into dis-ease. And when they go to the doctor, like they can't find anything. Like blood tests are fine, everything's within the normal markers that would be expected for blood test results. And yeah, they get sent home, but then they still feel not great. They still feel awful. So that's when people come to me and they go like, I need help with this. It's already been looked at in these medical angles, and I feel like there's still something in there. So
Wow.
that's how it unfolds. Yeah. And for the stress lines under the earth, all it requires is it needs to be neutralized. So I neutralize the effects in the energy field so it does not inflict onto the people that are living in the property.
Could you walk us through what a reset actually looks like from start to finish in a house that you might be clearing?
Okay. All right. Cool. And it always looks different in every case that I say yes to. And I say that because it's not all the time that I say yes to a case or a request. I do ask for energies and frequencies if it's appropriate for me to step in and assist in this way.
You
Or
ask
sometimes
permission.
it could be the timing. Yeah, it could be the timing as well. And because I work with different light beings, I call them beings of love, and yeah, light beings. And these could be known angels, archangels, or even the non-popular ones. There's ascended masters that may step up as well, and even Christed extraterrestrial races. So, like
Repeat
these are
that.
beings from
The
other Christed, like Christed
Christed.
extraterrestrial races. So
Jesus.
Christed. So they have, yeah, like when we describe people as heart-led people, like they're the same, but they're from other dimensions and other planets that are here to contribute to us, support us, and protect us as well. So I call upon them. So it's not just me doing it, but I also step into my divine self when I'm doing the process. So it starts off with a pre-processed reading. Like, what's the frequency of the harm before the reset? what's the frequency of the people living there, and what's the frequency of the land.
And
And
you
it
can
always
tap into all of
increases
that.
once, yes, yeah, and there are specific frequencies measured in the hertz scale. So they're actual numbers. So, and then I go through each of the levels of the house, if they are multi-level, and each of the rooms, scanning through. And what I'm doing in that instance is I detect any non-beneficial energies and entities, and if there are portals. So what are portals? So portals are this interdimensional doorway or a gateway where the non-beneficial energies could enter the house. And that's when there's a lot lower frequency and vibration on that spot. And hence, that's why I talked about earlier of certain rooms perhaps in the house that people are not using as much, or they don't feel like they could
Oh,
sleep there
yeah.
or live there.
Some
Oh
rooms
yeah,
like that in
sleep
people's
there or work
houses.
there. Yeah, yes. And sometimes it could be like so basic, and I encourage people to always let sunlight in all the rooms, because sunlight is such a natural clearing element.
And
Like just let,
air,
you know
like
that saying,
open the
let the
window
sun shine
too.
in. Yes.
Yeah.
Let the air circulate. But yeah, but even when it's winter, like where I am right now, yeah, like letting natural light come in, like open all the blinds, like yeah,
I was
open the
told that as a
doors,
child. Just
let
let
the
the
energy flow.
yeah.
Let the energy flow. And yeah, and houses and rooms that are always dark, they always feel heavier. And when I physically go to a house, or when I do a remote viewing of the place, I see it as very blurry and hazy, like smoke. You know, there's a lot of smoke, and like I can't see things clearly. But after I detect what I have detected and help them transmute. So when I say transmute, is I transmute them to the most appropriate dimension that they need to go. And a lot of the non-beneficial energies would just go, oh, I can do that. Like, yep. And it's like pretty much showing them the doorway or the steps to like a different choice, creating a different possibility. They don't have to be stuck there being that. So there's always like a choice, and that's how the energy shifts. And I always would end the process with neutralizing anything that's non beneficial, especially under the earth, in the earth grids, like
Okay.
those geopathic stress lines. Yeah, so it doesn't affect the people living there, the people visiting that place, like especially if it's a healthcare facility.
Oh yeah.
Yep, you know, like people go there because they're unwell. I have done some clearings in aged care homes, and there have been some interesting discoveries and even outcomes that even I get surprised. I'll give you an example. Is I cleared one room. It was just one room, but it radiated and rippled through the whole building because there was so much energy in that specific room that when I allowed all of the thousands of spirits to transcend and go where they need to go, the harmony of the people working there shifted. Like the staff even said that it actually feels more calm and lighter now. And then the patients that would used to have some physical or verbal altercations, which become incidents, like those stopped as well. And everyone like looked calm and happy. So that's a really great outcome that I'm always blessed to witness, because all of the cases that I take, I don't know what's going to show up. I'm not sure beforehand what I'm going to detect until I step into it and tap into the energy. And once I help transmute and shift the energies into higher frequencies, the outcomes always surprise me. Not surprise me in a way that I don't believe it. It's like, wow, so that's a possibility. That's amazing. And it's always great, like hearing the outcome.
So you worked as a nurse at healthcare facilities, mostly from what I understand, end of life care. And I think you were
I
like
have.
you were put there for a reason, or you chose that route, and now so you have a lot of stories in relation to your, yeah, to your energetic help in those in those environments. And so now you put your stories on your account on Substack, and there's one story about a woman who wasn't supposed to make it to Christmas. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that story.
Yes. Oh my gosh, like that still hits home for me. It's so amazing. So that lady, young lady, was actually is a sister of a great friend of mine. So I get a phone call from my friend, and he goes, I need you to come to hospital. My parents would like you to come here as well. And of course I was worried. I'm like, why, what happened? Are you okay? Is everyone in the family okay? And he was like, no, it's my younger sister. And all of the family members are here because she's very unwell. So she was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and the doctors have said she won't make it till Christmas. And if she did, she will not make it through the new year. Like, they've already given that short time span, so it's a very, very bad prognosis. And at first, I didn't know what my role was going to be, but I felt that pull, that knowing that I needed to be there. Yeah, so the first thing I did was I said to my friend, I need to speak to your parents and talk about expectations. And so I did ask them why they called me, and they said that they didn't know what else to do because there was no predisposing health condition. There was no family history. And she wasn't unwell before that. It just suddenly happened, and then suddenly terminal stage of that illness. And
wow.
so I told them, so I'm going to be tapping into her energy. And she was in a coma at that time. She was in a medically induced coma because the treatment that the medical team decided was so robust that they have to like put her in that state for her body to be able to receive all of these. And there were so many contraptions. So when I say contraptions, like all of these, tubes and wires attached to her. And yeah, so she was just asleep. She was in a coma. And I told them that what I can do is I will be tapping into her energy, and I will be speaking from my divine self to her divine self, and I'll see what unfolds from there. And at that time, I didn't know that I could do that. Gigi. And I just asked them, can you please help me remove the headboard of the bed? So, in hospitals, the headboard could be removed, and that is to enable advanced resuscitation procedures can happen. So it's like when they have to insert a tube for people to breathe, and then like to do the oxygen manually. So they need access to that. And so they helped me do that. It's so I could reach her head. I just felt this need for me to be able to touch her head. And I was like touching primarily around her crown chakra and behind her neck. And like that section behind the neck where it's like really soft. For those of you that have seen the series of movie of The Matrix, it's like that spot where they attach the the cord when they like they attach that metal tube in. So because that spot is actually our gateway to higher dimensions.
Right behind
And so
you.
when I go into like that soft thing, it's the section where the skull meets the spine, and you could feel like that soft section there that you could like touch, and you could feel like there's a cushion.
Yeah.
So I was touching that bit. Yeah. And so there's so many things to explore in this, and I'm developing something on how to guide people to be able to maximize and optimize that function, because our bodies are so amazing. So anyway, so I did that for her, and I just knew, like I just had this strong knowing that I would call in her divine self for me to speak with her. And it was just like a normal conversation like this, like, hey, what's up? What's happening?
Wow. And she was in a
And
coma.
she's like, oh, she was in a coma. Yeah. I was
Medically
silent the whole
induced.
time, right? So they gave me the space. Yeah, the family was there. They were just all watching. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And she was like, I don't know what's happening. And I'm really, really scared. I don't know what's going on. So, So she doesn't know what's really going on with her health, but her family told me that she has a very bad terminal case of cancer, and we didn't tell her before they've induced her into a coma, because we didn't want her to worry. But she knew that there was something going on, and she was like really scared. And I just
This is
asked
whilst we were
her,
talking to her through.
yeah, and like telepathically, yes. And I said, so what are you choosing with all of this? And she was like, I just wanted love and attention from my family. Because there's a lot of arguments and just disharmony, and I felt left out. So I just really want some love and attention. And I remember telling her, like, the words that I told her telepathically were, well, your plan worked. Everyone's here, and they're all worried and thinking about you. And I just asked her some questions. I said, is this really what you'd like to keep choosing in order to receive love and support from your family? Or would you prefer to live, get better, and actually enjoy that while you're alive?
Because now you know.
And I left. Yeah, and I left it at that. And like I
Wow.
told you, I wasn't sure what I was gonna do for her. And I just felt like I needed to touch those parts of her head. And I asked the family, where is she living? So she was living with her brother then in a military camp housing. And imagine how many people have lived there, how many family members. And it's the
yeah.
Army's families that have lived there, so who knows? And what I suggested was for the house to be healed and cleared, you know, like if they would allow me to go there and see what's going on. So what I discovered was the room where she's sleeping in. So she was sleeping on the upper level of the house. It's a 2-story house. And right underneath her bed was
You
a
went
bathroom.
there. Okay.
Yes, was a bathroom. And then right behind the headboard is another bathroom. So I just had this knowing that, so these the plumbing in that house, like both ways, were sucking energy out from her physical body.
Because of the,
And hence,
what? Wow. Because a
yeah,
lot of
I
plumbing is
just knew,
rusted.
yeah, like that. Yeah, yeah, and you know, like
Physically.
things flow through there. And
Oh yeah. All
yeah,
kinds of
and
stuff.
so it gave me the awareness to have that knowing that when building a house or, you know, moving furniture around, like not to put a sleeping space, which is a bed, which has a bathroom at the bottom, which was really odd because usually, like when you have like a bathroom on the upper level and the lower level, they should only be on like one side, so you don't have to
Because a
cross
lot
the
of
plumbing.
things,
Yeah,
like
it
a lot
should
of things
just be like,
flow through
yeah,
those pipes.
yes, yes.
Feces.
And so yeah, and so the family said, yes, can you please do a house healing where she's living with her brother. And so I did that, and I just recommended for her bed to be moved to the other side of the room, and for that room to just perhaps be her makeup room or where she could dress up, and then actually move her sleeping space to the next room because there's another room. It's
So she
like a
actually made it
4-bedroom
back to
house,
her
and there's only,
house?
so here's the thing. So she was given this much time to live, right? And this happened more than 15 years ago, and she's still living and thriving right now because she chose differently.
Because when you asked her
I
that
asked her
last
those
question,
questions.
when you asked her that last question, you just let it be. You just let her think of it. Like she didn't reply. You just offered her that
Yes.
scenario, and you were present to her psyche, to what she was going through, even though she wasn't conscious, right?
Exactly, 100%.
Physically conscious. Yeah. She was psychically still there. She was still alive. But even if the spirits have gone, you could still speak to them.
Exactly. And doing the house healing for them was a really good adjunct to what I did for her while she was in hospital. And yeah, so it makes me smile and cry tears of joy whenever I think of her. Like she could have gone back then, and again this was more than 15 years ago,
and she decided to wake up.
Yep, Yep,
She
get
decided,
better.
because it's a choice, right?
It's a choice.
Some
It's a choice. And the reason why I say
deep
that is,
down.
working in the medical industry, I've seen people like be on the end of life pathway and resurrect the next day. Because what I used to do was I was managing a healthcare facility, and it's either the patients that we get are on like the terminal stage of their disease or advanced stage of cognitive impairment, dementia. And what I would do was before I went home for the day, like I would visit them in their rooms by myself. And then I again tap into their consciousness. So I would speak with them through like higher self to higher self, or you could call it divine self to divine self. And some of them would pass on peacefully, with no pain and like just in their sleep. And others would actually choose to jump back up. And I have
Just
like my staff.
miraculously.
Yeah, my staff would come to me. This is so bizarre. Like he was in a coma for 5 days, and now he's awake, walking, and asking for more food. Because when they're in a end of life coma, there's no oral intake, no food, no water, because that would just cause them to experience choking.
Just like intravenous.
So sometimes there would be intravenous, and a lot of the times not really required. And it would just be medications injected through their veins or through their subcutaneous or their fatty tissues. And yeah, I've seen this time and again that I would call them they resurrect because they start walking and eating and talking again. As if they've just gone on a very long, very, very long sleep.
Because you were able to tap into their consciousness that not many people could do, and they were seen somehow.
They were seen, they were heard, they were felt. I think that's more of it. Like they were felt. And that, I could choose. Like, yeah. And not all of them become better, but the death process for them was a lot more peaceful. They face it with a lot of dignity and like, yeah, I'm choosing this. It's time for me to go. Like, I can't keep going on with this body because it's so unwell. Like, I'd rather like choose another lifetime where I could actually live it and enjoy life again. So they see all of these different possibilities if they choose.
I have a question. I mean, this is a big question. But like, what is death in and of itself, in your point of view?
Like death. If we are infinite, is there really death? Or is it just a transition onto a different form? It's the same case as when people say that, every 7 years of our lives, like there's a major transition that happens. It's like either like people like choose a different career path, or they get married, and then like after 7 years they choose like, like I actually desire something greater. And like it could be that. And what if death is something similar as well? Like it's a transformation and a transition to a different form. They could either choose to come back and live again on the earth, but they would need to have a body, or they could just choose to be part of like the cosmic energies around as well.
Depending on their contract and what they decide to do in the other world.
Yes.
So we can move on to another story that you shared on Substack, which is what happened with the man who was too afraid to sleep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's one of my favorites because again, I wasn't sure what exactly was going to show up or how it was going to unfold. So
this is like a true life experience. Yeah.
Oh, yes, all of them are. So I used to be a life coach back in the day, and we would have a program and there would be participants, right? And so this gentleman was one of the participants and I was one of the coaches. Like he was not directly in my group of coachees, but the program already ended months later. So I get a phone call from this gentleman and he said that, I'm not sure why I'm calling you, but the lead facilitator of the coaching group suggested that I come to you. Like the words that were said was, call Coach Gian. She would know what to do. And that surprised me because this lead facilitator is not a believer of supernatural things at all. She's very
Yeah,
scientific.
you
She's a
really need to
psychologist.
be a believer, or else it's all like woo woo. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and she's a psychologist. So I
Mm.
was, yeah, I was surprised, like, oh, that's interesting that she said that. And I said, okay, what's up? What's going on? And yeah, he just really felt comfortable to tell me I haven't slept for 3 weeks minimum. And I'm like,
That makes you
what? Like
psychotic. That
that?
like losing
That's
sleep makes you
exhausting.
lose your
Yep. And
mind. Yeah.
you do. And it's like, yeah, I've experienced not sleeping. My longest, I think, is like 2.5 to 3 days of not sleeping, and
Mm.
that's hard. And for someone who wouldn't like, because he was afraid to go to sleep.
Yeah, some people, yeah.
It's
Well, anxiety and
he didn't
depression
have
does that.
Yeah, he didn't have insomnia. Like he was just scared because every time he went through the sleep state, would his eyes in sleep, would experience the same nightmare over and over and over again. And the nightmare
Mm.
was all about this woman dressed in black tormenting him, trying to kill him. And as if like he could like feel it in his physical body. And at first he dismissed it, like week one passed, week two passed, still the same. And yeah, so he was very exhausted, no sleep at all. And it escalated.
Mm.
I didn't want to like relive it again. And so it became worse because his partner, his girlfriend at the time, was experiencing something extraordinary as well. But not while she's asleep. This was while she was awake. She would
Mm.
just get pushed to a wall and no one would be like standing next to her. And she would get scratches, long scratches on her back for no reason at all. So it was becoming
Freaky.
more and more apparent and it's getting really worse. And so that's when he asked for help. And so when I said yes, all right, I'm happy to help and see what I can do for you. And to be honest, like I actually wasn't sure what I was embarking on.
Oh
So I
wow.
arrived at his house and I already felt something that's very dense. And the way I saw it was the vision of the woman dressed in black, like have entered my consciousness through my inner eyes. And she was speaking to me in frames of pictures or films. Like that was the way she was speaking to me. So she showed me why she was doing what she was doing. So
Mm.
she was in a relationship with this man,
This is a
and
spirit, right?
they yes, this is the spirit. They belonged to when she was living. They
So you
belonged
connected to the
to
spirit in this
families.
guy's dreams. Right. Okay.
Yes, well, I was in his house, and so she said that
So the fact that
they
you
were
were in his
lovers.
house, sorry, the fact that you were in his house made it
Yeah.
kind of easier to tap in, but you could have tapped in remotely as well, maybe.
Yes, exactly. Like I could have tapped in remotely as well, but I wanted to like not have any preconceived biases or expectations. Because with this line of work, like I need to be really grounded and like not just grounded in a regular sense, but also
Mm.
expanded. Um,
Yes.
like really, really big, like bigger than the Earth, as big as the universe. So I could sense all energies. It's like looking at everything from a bird's eye view
Yeah,
and
this is my other question.
detaching from expectations and
Mm.
projections or like what's gonna show up.
Right, open to everything. Like you constantly need to be like maintaining a meditative practice or whatever practice you need to, to maintain in order to be tapping into
Yeah.
these channels, vortexes,
Yes, yeah, and
worlds.
it had taken practice. Like before, I would like experience being unwell when doing a space healing, and then that waned down until it disappeared, and it became more like not having to step into like a silent meditative state, but being in a wakeful meditation as I'm doing this line of work. So like when I step into his house, like already sense a presence that okay, she's here and she was talking to me through images, through pictures, as if it was a movie. So they belonged in families, each of them belonged in families that were in like serious disagreements. So this sounded like a Romeo and Juliet story to me in a way. And at first I thought, is this for real? Am I just thinking this? But Yeah, she kept
Oh.
showing me the frames of the scenes. And so they agreed to meet at a certain place at a certain time with the aim to elope, run away together. Because they know that if they stayed where they were, they would not be allowed to be in a relationship together.
So this is the spirit in his dream, and who else? Like not him. Him in a past life
Not
or
him,
someone
him in a
else?
past life. No, it was
Okay.
him in a past life. Yeah, and so she arrived there first and she waited and waited and waited and he never arrived. So all the while she thought that he had abandoned her. He had cold feet, just didn't want to go or didn't really love her that much. And then there were scenes again that were flashed before me of what actually occurred. So he was on his way to meet her and his family found out. And so they were doing everything they can to stop him from going, prevent him from being with her. And it got really bad that, yeah, there were some like altercations, not just verbal, but even physical. And he actually ended up passing away.
He
That's
did?
why I couldn't make it.
In the other life.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the other life, in the other lives. That's why he couldn't make it.
So,
And
so
I,
that.
yes. And so he thought that this man in this lifetime was that same man, but they just had the same energetic signature. So I
Oh.
explained to her like what actually occurred, and I said, "You don't have a body anymore. This man that you've been meeting with during his dream state is not the same man.
So
So
you had
this
to
is not
explain to
him
this
to."
ghost or this spirit that this
Yes,
man that she was
yeah,
haunting in his nightmares.
is different. Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
not
it's not
even
the man.
it wasn't even a past life transgression for him. It was this and the spirit that was haunting.
Yeah,
Well
because he
then.
had the same energetic signature. And when I replayed the scenes to her about what I've seen of what occurred, that's why he couldn't make it, she calmed down and she's like, "Oh, so he didn't really abandon me. He actually loved me because he did everything he could, but couldn't make it in person because he wasn't alive anymore." And so I said, "All right, now that you are aware of what actually occurred, are you ready for me to assist you in your transition?" And she was like, "Yeah." And she went like really quickly, peacefully, with that immense love in her heart and that joy. And oh my God, it was the most beautiful thing. And so I did the comprehensive infinite frequency, sovereign frequency protocol that I did for my client and his girlfriend at the time, like the full thing. And that's tapping into other energies attached to them in their energy field, physical body, this lifetime, other lifetime, in their homes, in other homes, like lots and lots of unseen energies and frequencies that are affecting them. And I remember before I went home, because he was still scared to go to sleep. It was actually really late when I
Okay.
left his house. And I said to him, "No, go to sleep tonight. Just, take deep breaths, pray, meditate, whatever it is that you do. Go to sleep. I have a good feeling that you're gonna have a good night's rest. And I'll check in with you first thing in the morning." And
Bum bum bum
so,
bum.
ta-da! And then, so first thing in the morning, I rang him to check in, like to check, "Hey, are you awake?" And he told me, "Thank you so much. That was the best sleep I've ever had in such a long time." And I had no recurrence of the nightmare. And I was checking in with him week after week after week. Still no nightmares. And there were no unexplainable events that had happened to his girlfriend. Like it all stopped. And he was like so happy. And I was so elated
Wow.
as well because I'm like, wow, the magnitude of this work just ripples through lifetimes.
And
And like,
different energetic
yeah,
signatures. Like what is that? An energetic signature. It's a similarity in people's energies. It has colors
yes,
associated
yeah.
to it, frequencies.
It felt familiar to her. It's like, oh, this was my man. Yeah.
The
So it is
dynamics.
that. And it's, And it's the same with lower frequency as well. So when we experience ourselves in a state of low vibration, when we're in low frequency emotions and feelings, that creates an energetic signature for similar lower frequencies to come in as well, hence attracting these non-beneficial entities. So for example, if a person loves to drink alcohol with the aim to get drunk and not, for other reasons, but to actually, or to enjoy the flavors, but just to pass out and get totally drunk, then there would be like a signal that goes up to similar entities around, like, oh, I know that. I'm gonna hang out with that because that's familiar to me. Like, I'd rather hang out than just be by myself. And so that's why, like, recreational drugs, alcohol, and those low vibration frequencies like shame, blame, regret, guilt, they attract more of these. So the key is to be able to identify that as soon as, be aware of it, and have that choice to, like, okay, I'm done snapping out of it. And it's not easy for a lot of people. And that's how I contribute to people when they are ready. And I've done this to someone who didn't fully understand what I was doing, because he was ready to kill himself. Like, said, like, I'm ready to pop out, Gian. Like, this is what I'm gonna do, da da da. And he wasn't speaking to anyone in his family, with his friends, for a week. And he would just, like, stay in the room and not go out at all. And when I reached out to him to ask for consent, so this is a key thing with the line that I do, like, even if I can do all of what I do to contribute to people, I need to have clear consent that I can do.
Of the spirit to the people involved, the physical people involved.
Yes.
The spiritual entities involved.
Yes. So, like, pretty much, like, I don't even call it energy healing. I would call it more like light healing or frequency healing, because that's what I do. I transmute low vibrations and transform it into something that's more elevated, so they function better in their life. So I was actually surprised that he responded to me, because he wasn't responding to anyone else. And I said, would you be willing for me to tap into your energy and see what is there? And I don't know what it's gonna look like. And he, for some reason, like, he's a very skeptical person. He just said, yes, like, yeah, just please do what you need to do. What do I have to do? Yeah. He was exhausted. Yeah, and I said, let me know when it's close to your bedtime, because I need you, like, laying down and relaxed. And when we were on our video call, he said, I'm starting to be really sleepy. I said, that's fine. Go to sleep. Yeah, just rest, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing. And I said, I'll check in with you first thing in the morning. And so what I detected, there were a lot of suicidal entities around him, lots of them, in the place where he was staying and where he'd stayed before, different places he'd stayed before, and suicidal energies and entities in his physical body, and, like, in childhood as well. So I think he had experienced someone in his life growing up that had ended their life. So, like, it was all this, it was very intense, and majority of the entities were that in different layers.
So when you say suicidal entity, it's like an entity that was alive that committed suicide? Right.
Yes.
So spiritually.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Yes. And so when I've, like, detected all of these and how many there were heaps of them, like hundreds, and then transmuted them, assisted them to where they need to go, changed their frequency, and then, like, recalibrated his physical body while he was sleeping, that I did remotely. And I checked in with him the very next day, and I cried when I heard him say, thank you so much. I don't know what you did, but I felt your love, and I just felt so supported. I opened my eyes this morning saying, I love myself, I love my body, I love my life, and everything looked beautiful. I don't want to kill myself anymore. And I was just like,
that's powerful.
Wow. Yeah. It's just a great blessing to witness all of these outcomes that I'm always amazed at. Like, I told you, I never know what's gonna show up and how it will unfold.
But I think it's also, like,
amazing.
Like, the act of being seen and heard and felt on all levels, like physically, consciously,
without
subconsciously.
judgment.
Yeah.
Without judgment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's big. That's huge.
That's
That's
big.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no
The
projections,
without
no
judgment
judgment.
and with love. With love and the without judgment part is a big one. And not many people are able to do that. Like, I think there's very few people because
Yeah.
we're all judging all the time.
Yeah.
We're all, oh, this is green and this is blue and this is yellow.
It
Yeah.
should be pink or it should be this. Like, yeah, I think that's the main key thing. Yeah, the message and the awareness, the gift that I got from that is, yeah, that willingness to just share pure love, not have any judgments or projections, and saying yes to what I'm being called to do at that time with no expectation. Yeah, I think those are the keys.
And that other person,
Great.
also that other person in a very vulnerable state of being, of mind, of body, being heard with love, with and no judgment on all these different layers, could make like a endless, a difference in possibilities, along with allopathic medicine and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. And they like both of them, they made a different choice, and that's all there was. And that's why I keep saying that our choices are powerful. The moment we make a choice, that's where creation starts. Even with ideas, with projects, with business, we make like
subconscious choice, conscious choice.
That's where creation is birth or commence, and things unfold like in the timing that they unfold with divine action and aligned action, of course.
So a couple of closing questions. Like, you already tapped into like how you feel in your body when you communicate in the spirit world. Like, what's the experience like for you? How do you feel in the moment?
It was very different from how I used to feel when I was embarking on this journey. Like before, I would feel some tension, vibration, or like really, really hot or really, really cold. And sometimes my head would even throb. But as like allowed myself to step more into it and ease myself into this, it just feels like a normal conversation. It was like when I was in my old workplace, I was given one of the patient's rooms as my office, and I didn't know that the person just died. Yes, it was nice and clean and spacious. So I left the door open. Because I just wanted to let the energy and the air flow. And as soon as I sat there, the lights flickered in the room. It was almost as if it was orchestrated, because all the lights, not just the main bedroom where I am, even the bathroom lights, flickered in like a Morse code rhythm kind of way. Like,
because that's how they communicate with people is through flickering light. We've heard this before. Yeah. One of the ways. Yeah.
And then it stopped, and then I said okay. And then the corridor lights, remember I left the door open, the corridor lights, all of the lights flickered exactly the same way.
Freaky.
But in the room it stopped, but then it moved to the corridor, like that whole stretch, like, and I go, okay. I said like, hi.
So you trust that as a sign.
I hear
and
you.
Then you communicate.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I said, I hear you and I acknowledge your presence. Is there anything you require from me right now? And like I ask a series of questions. Do you need my help in clearing? Or would you like to communicate with me? Do you want to talk to me? Or is there something that you'd like to gift to me, or something that I could contribute to you? So like I just asked you questions, and all I got was, no, I'm okay. You don't have to clear me. I just want to say hello and thank you for acknowledging me and saying hello back.
Being
and then
seen.
the light flickering stopped, and it was very peaceful. And my work in the 2 days that I was there went with ease and flow. And again, like I didn't feel anything in my body at that time. It was just like a normal conversation, like what we're having right now. Yeah, no tingling, no vibrating cells, or no headaches.
Like no feeling in the chest and the gut and okay.
No, it was just so natural. And he was just saying hi, and I said hello back. And that's all he needed.
Yeah, they like to be acknowledged when they're there, when they come, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Freaky. So yeah, so as someone, so as someone like trained in psychology and nursing, how do you tell the difference between something energetic and something psychological and medical, like in this practical world, vis-a-vis something
Okay.
more
I ask
galactic?
questions. Yeah, I ask questions. So if they
Oh,
say, "Oh, Gian, I've got pain on my knee," and I go, "Do you really have pain in the knee? Is that your pain, or is that something else?" And then that opens up the questions in their awareness. And then I ask the question myself, but then I ask the question to them because I would rather support and allow people to tap into their awareness rather than me telling them, because that's more empowering if they come up with their own awareness
so when you say ask
of
questions, you
things.
ask questions vocally or
Yeah,
spiritually, energetically? Okay, yeah.
vocally and in my head, because I talk to the knee. Hey,
Oh
what's up?
yeah.
What are you? What's up? Because our bodies talk to us in different ways. It could be as subtle as a gentle breeze or like, just like that. But almost always we don't really listen or we don't pay attention. And so the body creates pain as a way of like, when it's like that, they're actually screaming like, hey, look at this. This needs attention. Because pain, we can't ignore it. We can't ignore that. But when the moment we say, I have pain in my knees, then you've locked it in. But what if we could just go, interesting, that's quite tight. I wonder what this is. Like, hey, knee, what are you trying to tell me?
So what
Is
do
it time to leave this? Is it time to leave this job and move to another one? Like, just an example.
Like, what if all medical professionals in the industry were tapped in to the spiritual realm as you are and have the medical knowledge and the healthcare knowledge and the being there, the presence knowledge? Like,
I,
how would that affect the whole industry in and of itself?
I think it would make their lives easier instead of going through diagnostic tests like hit and miss, and just really addressing the root cause of things, because sometimes it's just really stuck emotions or feelings or trauma. And I remember when I was still studying my nursing, even my psychology degrees, I was studying anatomy and like the different diagnoses, and almost all of them would have, because they would say like diagnosis name, what body system, etiology would almost always be unknown.
Etiology, right? The
Unknown. Yep.
source
In in medical books, unknown. And how often,
could be like
not
hereditary.
discounting, I'm not discounting medicine and their training, but how many times have I heard, I even experienced it for myself, like you share a symptom that you're feeling, and then it's just easy to throw out that's autoimmune disease. Like straight away. Now, if I accepted that as my reality, like, oh, I have autoimmune disease, then I lock that in instead of asking questions. Is that really true?
Psychically.
Or is my body just recalibrating? So it would make things easier for the patients and for the medical system to be more of. There are people that do this, actually, medical intuitives. Like, yeah, they do ask questions and go to like the non-physical energies and effects that could be stuck energy, emotions, or trauma that they've experienced in their life that's stuck in certain parts of the body. And it will not be great for business because people would be able to identify and resolve what's going on for them a lot easier. But yeah, it would just make the world like a healthier place. That's what I believe.
So you
And
could, are they like
yeah,
in-house hospital medical intuitives or just in the Scandinavian countries? Or, I mean, apparently, I mean, in the US, you would have to play an arm
Scandinavia.
in it. Like they should be
Yeah.
subsidized medical intuitives on all the
Yep.
in all the wards of the hospitals.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that there are doctors and nurses that are very intuitive, tapped into their consciousness, and it's a different way of approach with their patients. Like when like patients come across these types of people, like even here in Australia, there are doctors that are holistic doctors. It's like I'm not entirely sure, but it looked to me, the way I understood it was like tapping into like intuition, medicine, herbal,
Functional doctors. Yeah.
functional medicine. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And they look at all facets, not just the scientific medical biology side of things. And they're also medical intuitives that are consultants to doctors. So doctors work with them directly to say, okay, I have this patient. Can you just check what is really happening so I don't have to test and try different treatments or diagnostic tests? And this medical intuitive, whether in person, but I think a lot of them are remote, they do remote viewing of the person's body. This is something that I've learned as well. It's like, like I would describe it as it's like a submarine sonar radar. Like I would have the hologram of the person and like scan through their body from head to foot and detect like, okay, there's something going on with the right knee or in the back or like this level of the spine. And since I'm healthcare trained, like I know like what those parts of the bodies are
There are
called. And
remote
then
viewers that are hired by the government to
yes,
figure out where the submarines are or the secret airplanes or
or
the
this other
moons.
countries. Yes. Yeah, the secrets of other countries. That there are people that do that as well. And there are people that are hired to protect the energy and frequency of high profile people, whether they are on, I don't know how you would describe it. They're on the side that's all for consciousness and expanded awareness, or they're on the other side.
Because they
Yeah,
could
but
say they are,
yeah.
but hidden within them
Yeah,
are
there's
low
actually
frequency
people working
demons.
in the background that's working on their energetic field constantly. Yeah,
Wow.
that exists.
Thank you, Giancarla,
Yeah,
for
medical
being
system would be yeah, medical system would be way better like if we are into this. It's actually I think we're getting there more and more.
moving
Like
closer
I knew
to
I
that.
knew when I like years ago when I started my supernatural journey.
Superhero.
I think I remember channeling because the exercise we were given different topics was to tap into the future of what education would look like, what healthcare would look like, and those different things. And I think for me, I my assignment was, my mission was to tap into the future of education and healthcare. And what I perceived in the future for healthcare is its frequency. So energy, the frequency is the medicine in different forms. It could be in frequency measured through hertz scale. It could be medicine through sound that holds a certain like different levels of frequencies as well, or like light or that intention. And there are people that actually do use sacred geometry and sacred light to do healing.
So
Things that I
frequency
play something that I play with as well.
So frequency is the
the future
ultimate
medicine.
medicine.
Yep, and that's what I tapped into. Like this was more than 15 years ago when I did this channeling, and I'm seeing it now. It is here. It is here already. Like there are doctors, medical doctors that have turned into intuitive psychics, like teaching what they know. And something that I've discovered as well when I was studying psychology, observing people that have been diagnosed with mental health disorders, and I saw them speaking to something that's unseen. And I asked a question in my head, what if they actually like see and hear things that are actually there, but for us that don't see it, we see that as not normal. And then medical system goes, you're schizophrenic, you're bipolar, you have this, you have this, you have this. But what if they're just aware of the other realm?
Definitely. I was saying this the other day, like people in healthcare facilities, mental health care facilities, who are there for an elongated period of times are the ones who are a lot of the time really tapped into the spiritual realm, the other world. They see entities, and they, instead of being in these institutions, they should be levitating somewhere elsewhere, which is...
Yeah, they just needed to be given the tools and know how to use it.
Yeah, and the
can sense that that's
guidance.
One of my missions as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Giancarla, for being here on the show today.
Thank you so much. It's been great fun again.
Awesome. Is there where could people find you? I'm gonna put the links to your socials below.
Links, yeah. Yes. I have a link tree that has my Substack. my landing pages for the infinite sovereign frequency and for the property reset protocol and my stories. And I'm going to
Awesome.
be launching storytelling on video with the stories that I've got in my Substack that's written. And there's more extraordinary supernatural real life experiences to share with everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll see you all
you.
next time in the next episode of Vibe Higher with Gigi. Bye, everyone.
See